Hi, this is Tina from Inner Delight, and welcome to another We Uplift TV moment. And joining me again today is a beautiful Fay Hart, joining us all the way from Mexico today. Welcome, Fay.
Hi, Tina. Thanks.
Such a joy to share with you, to hear your stories and your very diverse background and all the many experiences from all over the world. And I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your gorgeous book, Yard Sale, the poetry that you've been writing.
Oh, yeah, this is something I love to talk about because this is very dear to my heart. This is my beautiful book, Yard Sale, that really, when I think about it, it was like 20 years in the making because I never went to school. I'm a high school dropout. I just, everything went downhill for me after first grade. I just didn't, my whole remit was trying to get out. And finally, when I was 16, they let me go, you know. And so I went off, so I sort of had to educate myself. And I never really understood about poetry. I was just born a poet, you see. It isn't something I set out to be. When I won a modest prize for poetry when I was a young kid, my dad took me aside after the prize giving and said that, you know, that all the Irish are poets. Some of them just don't take it up. So I thought, okay. So in a sense, he did me a wonderful thing because I never thought it was anything unusual or different. I thought everyone wrote like this all the time, you see. But it was very unschooled, and I never did think to ask him how would I go about taking it up. You know, I just went off in my life. So then I wound up, you know, writing very bad songs in the 70s, and then I got onto the performance poetry scene in London, and you know, that was a great scene through the 80s and early 90s. You could gig every night. There were so many places, but it was, I wanted to learn the craft, you know, I wanted to get down to my desk and really understand it. So I actually found a mentor. I actually just wrote to my favorite poet. I just thought this guy that I really admired, who's like one of the greatest British poets writing today, I think. Queen's gold medalist, you know, and really handsome, and he's like this love poet. So I wrote to him, and then his misfortune was writing back, and I pursued him, and then we had a beautiful 7-year love affair and friendship, and it was just beautiful because every weekend I would go to his house and we would write, and he didn't teach me in that school kind of way. It was just by being, and he had a really phenomenal library, you know. So finally, this book was the result of it, but I had to leave London. My book was in development with Faber's of London for 5 years, but I could never get it from the in development to a publishing deal. I had a lot of published in all the best journals and good anthologies, but I just never made that next step. And then finally, when I left London and I went on this long journey, and I found this small press publisher in Orlando, Florida, part of the Kerouac project, where I was writer in residence at Jack Kerouac's house for 3 months. And they gave me this publishing deal, this home for my poems, and it's like that the chickens always come home to roost. You know, I went all the way around the world and I came home to publish this book. But what happened is that there's this huge whopping mistake in my book. And it's the one poem, really, that's of a fixed form, a sestina. And I teach the sestina. I do workshops, kind of part life coaching, part poetry lessons. And I use the sestina. And I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I had 7 readers. I had my mentor. I had draft after draft. And it was as if somebody sprinkled cosmic pixie dust so that no one could see this until it was too late. And I cried like a baby. You know, I cried because I had put my heart and soul into this book. And it's not really about the book. I've never cared that much. You know, I'm an old punk rocker. We're like, play it today and throw it away. I've never been an archivist. I've never really cared about something for the sake of it. I care about something I care about the aesthetics. You know,
Mm.
I care about it. I'd rather have no book than I'd rather, you know, than the right book kind of thing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but and nobody would get it. Even my mentors, like, oh, nobody will notice it, and blah, blah, blah. And it was just so heartbreaking for me. I didn't even want the book. I had a box of 100 of them, and I thought I don't even want to show them to anyone. And then I had an angel reading with this beautiful woman I had met in Florida named Emily Andrews. She's a brilliant reader, a brilliant connection, and she was the first person, and the angels. It makes me cry when I think about it, came through her and they said, yeah, it's really sad, and allowed me to grieve for my life's work to be marred in a sense by this flaw. But then came the message that the book is not a book. It's not just a book. It's not just this slim volume of poetry. It is a metaphor for how you accept your life. And I thought, oh, all right then, you know, and I went off and I thought about that, and I thought, wow, that's it right there. Because my life is always, there's 90% great, and then there's this little thing that I'm not doing right, or I didn't get, you know, or whatever. And I don't think it's just me. We tend to focus on that 10%, you know, and lose the whole gift of our lives. So now, and also it just seemed like such a cosmic joke that the sestina of all poems could be wrong, because that's you can see that it's wrong. Anyone that knows the form of a sestina. Whereas if it were any of my other poems, which are free verse, I could have just said, well, I meant to have it like that. So it's just become so beautiful. You know, now I do workshops around it and really teach people. I'm able to really show them that, you know, just don't look at the 10% that you're getting wrong. You know, focus on that 90%, and the 10% becomes the jewel of the whole 90%.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And for anyone who would like to read the poems themselves and get a copy of the book, they can go to your website, followfay.com. You see there is the link for the books, and you'll see everything there. And for booking any sessions with Fay, you can also connect with her there. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your stories with us. I look forward to reading it. And until the next time, I would say many joyful blessings. Have a beautiful day there, Independence Day in Mexico. And until the next time, yay!
Thanks so much, Tina.
You're welcome,
Bye.
Fay. Bye.